Anthony Davis happened to hurt himself again after just coming back for 2 games. During the second game against the Denver Nuggets on Sunday night, he re-aggravated his Achilles, and then the MRI that showed on Monday night that he will now be taking 2 to 3 weeks off. But a lot of Laker fans, and it's very self-explanatory, if you're a Laker fan, you must be going like, no, don't. He does it. It's Achilles. Achilles. This dude doesn't need to play until the playoffs possibly. So, Mark, for a timeline, when would you feel comfortable about Anthony Davis coming back onto the Lakers lineup?
Like maybe a month before the playoffs start, so that way he could warm up. Because let's face it, that's what we're playing for. We don't play for right now. Come on, we are the defending champs, the 2020 World NBA heavyweight champions, Los Angeles Lakers. And what I'm going to say is, all they have to do is rest them. We don't need them right now. Well, somebody else will step up. We got Kuz starting, and they'll figure it out. I mean, can't forget it's also LeBron James is leading this, leading them into battle. So I'm pretty confident in who we got right now. I mean, I know there's already rumors, about possibly trying to get someone while AD is going to be quote unquote out, but I'm sure we'll touch on that in a little bit.
Well, yeah, no, the Lakers are looking at the buyers, to buy someone out in the market right now. So obviously there's names floating. The trade deadline is shortly arriving. So can they get Andre Drummond if the Cavs decide somehow, some way to just drop him? Or will they try to acquire Blake Griffin? Because here's the thing with Andre Drummond, a lot of teams are like perking up their ears to see if is he available? Such as the Boston Celtics, such as the Clippers, who are... Any team, essentially, that is a rival to the Lakers, they're interested. And I'm not sure if it's because they want to thwart the Lakers or if it's because they actually plan to use them for a championship destiny.
This would be perfect if you could play a clip from like an old Jenny Jones show, or maybe like a Jerry Springer, where it's like this teenage girl going, "You're just hating," because that's what the Lakers are pretty much right now. They're just hating on us. That's all they are. And hey, if we want to take Blake Griffin and rub it in the Clippers' face, we might as well do it. And I would, I'd be happy. I'd be okay. Would you be okay if Blake Griffin happened to be led of the Lakers?
Here's the thing. If it was 2015 Blake Griffin, then yeah. But if it's 2021 Blake Griffin, the guy that's averaging only just 12 points for the worst team in the NBA, the Detroit Pistons, and a guy who hasn't had a dunk, according to ESPN, since December of 2019. I mean, there seems to be problems with Blake Griffin that not even like the Detroit Pistons or any other team could probably fix or figure out.
And don't forget that he's also a stand-up comedian, performed at Just for Laughs festivals that we haven't, and we're professionals. So let's not forget about that either.
Has a Comedy Central credit, has been on the stage, the Laugh Factory, more times than not. I mean, it's okay. It's just Blake Griffin, you know what I mean? The guy doesn't have writers.
Oh, yeah, no, not at all. He wasn't, a celebrity roaster on the roast battle. But you know what? Never mind. Change of plans.
Which was cringeworthy, by the way, because if you notice, like, all he had to do was just read the lines that was given to him,
and he could barely read.
Somehow, some way, he went over the punchline. Like, he would just then turn the whole punchline into his own story, and it was just cringeworthy to watch.
Just like him on the Clippers, by the way. Towards the end. Actually, no, I'm lying. That's terrible because he was pretty good on the Clippers. But anyway, I'm going to take all that back. I don't want him. As a matter of fact, I hope he goes somewhere else, somewhere where no one wants to be, like Cleveland or whatever. But, hey, Andrew Drummond, I'll be down for that. But, you know damn well we're going to have to give up some pieces for him.
Well, another thing, okay, so the Clippers, I was comparing, because I work for the Clippers, AM570 LA Sports. I will say that looking at the Clippers last night played the Miami Heat, who, again, they've never been really 100% this season. But with Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, and Bam Adebayo, the Clippers played without 4 of their starters, I should say. So Batum was out, Paul George was out, Kawhi Leonard was out, and then Patrick Beverley was out. Without those 4 starters, the Clippers were still able to beat the Miami Heat. And so when I compare the Clippers to the Lakers are very focused on those 2 stars that they have, Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Whereas the Clippers are still a team. They could probably be an 8-seeded team in the playoffs just without Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
Sorry, my line just cut off. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So
okay, cool.
What I'm pretty much saying is, without Anthony Davis right now, the Lakers need to learn how to play as more of a team that's not dependent on Anthony Davis. With LeBron James, that's going to be very functional. But Trez, who wants to be the star that he is, and he rightfully so he is, needs to learn how to also improve in the areas that he needs to improve on, such as defense.
Yeah, and and LeBron kind of nailed it when he said, at times like these, other players will rise up, and I kind of feel that's going to happen because it tends to happen, especially with like Kuzma. I mean, Kuzma only shows up when he's starting, so it's I don't know if that's a hint that he he can do bigger and better things, I guess, just because he's starting instead of off the bench, then so be it. But I feel like there's gonna be a couple players that are gonna step up even more so. Alex Cruz always does it. Kuzma always does it. KCP is gonna hit or miss. I don't think Marc Gasol's gonna do it because I think he's just I don't know. At this point, he's like I pretty much put me on the court because that's exactly how I kind of move. Plus 5 feet, but I don't know. That's just me.
And Schroeder is doing an amazing job. Like the games that you saw him play against Memphis and Oklahoma City, like the games that were like really neck and neck until like the second half. Schroeder was able to like come out and emerge as like a true point guard. The only problem is I really feel as if it's him and Trez that are digging the Lakers into this hole early on. It's a team effort, but at the same time, these are guys that are more offensive minded than they are defense. And so like, do the Lakers need to go down 22-2 against the Memphis Grizzlies? Not really, but it keeps on happening.
We're just trying to fool everybody. It's all an illusion. It's all done on purpose. That's how I rationalize my life. Like, yeah, sure, I sleep in a gutter and I haven't washed my butt in 3 days, but hey, it's just an illusion. Just like the Lakers, they want to make you think, we can't win this game, we're barely gonna get by, and then they just kind of just press the button and turn it on, and then they close out the fourth. I mean, how many times have you seen that this year?
A lot.
4, 5, 6 times.
And so look, this is a team that's practically like newer to each other.
Yeah, they plus it's still, wait, how many games are we on now exactly?
So the Lakers have played about 28. They're playing their 29th right now.
Yeah, okay. So right now is like around the time where they should be gelling, but since there's some inconsistencies with AD kind of coming in and out, especially now that he's hurt again, it'll take them a minute, but if anything, it just gives them more time because I feel like everyone else is going to start getting some time, right?
Right. That's very true. I think especially like take into consideration that LeBron James played 3 consecutive games with over 40 minutes because of those overtime games, and a lot of fans are worried about him. Like you mentioned it last week about like him following the same pattern as Kobe when he had his Achilles injury. So like, what do you do now with LeBron James? Do you try to like rest him? Do you decide to keep playing him? Is LeBron still going to be able to catch up to Kareem?
I still say, I mean, as Ryan Ward said last week, LeBron knows what he's going after, and he knows the stats. He's not dumb. So part of me wants to say he's willing to not play as much, but at the same time he's also chasing something. Which, I mean, if he ever passes Kareem, I don't know. That's another debate or it's another discussion. But I don't know. Maybe that's what's fueling him. So who knows? The dude always says he's not tired. He doesn't get tired. So he's probably going to keep playing like that until he's actually tired or, knock on wood, something happens where he's unable to play. But I hope it doesn't get to that point because, this is kind of scary to watch a little bit. Just being, a Lakers fan and seeing a similar pattern before.
Yeah, and maybe we could we'll end off the segment on this before we bring on Adam because we could probably bring it back to Adam and join on this. But I would like to say that I also saw people bringing up on Twitter about the 4 Laker players that are now on other teams and how they're flourishing in their roles. So Jordan Clarkson, after he had an amazing game for the Utah Jazz the other night. Julius Randle, who's putting up career numbers in New York. You got Brandon Ingram in New Orleans, and you also got D'Angelo Russell with the Timberwolves. Those 4 guys are doing well. However, if they were still on the Lakers today, it wouldn't be the same case. Like, yeah, okay, like LeBron and AD are maybe not on the team, but I think the reason why they're working out so much and the reason why we shouldn't be dwelling on them so much is because it takes a heartbreak in order for a person to grow. And I think them leaving the Lakers, which was their original home, they've been able to flourish and grow it somewhere else.
I think, what was it, Lonzo said that there was a lot of pressure when he first jumped in. That was kind of messing with him in the beginning. So